This is a video that I have been planning to make for a very long time. I didn't want to do this today because I was hoping to express thoughts from the Ottawa anti-trans protest last Friday, but I woke up today and I found this tweet from Kellie-Jay Keen, also known as Posie Parker. It is speaking directly about me, so I'd kind of like to respond to it. For those for whom Kellie-Jay Keen is not a household name, she's kind of the queen bee of the modern trans-exclusionary radical feminist movement. She was the one who paid for the original I Heart JK Rowling billboard in England that made international headlines, and she now travels around the world attending rallies that pit women's rights and transgender existence as diametrically opposed social domains. I've never interacted with Kellie-Jay, and I suspect we'd find areas where we can agree. And sure, there are also areas where we would disagree as well. I am super open to having conversation if she's interested. So Kellie-Jay Keen, when you receive this video, consider this an invitation to engage in some good faith dialogue. I imagine many people would find our discussion very, very interesting. So why is Kellie-Jay Keen speaking about me at all? Because I appeared in a photo with Billboard Chris at the Ottawa protest, and it's been spreading widely over the past 2 days. And it seems that even though Kellie-Jay Keen knows basically nothing about me, she nonetheless has opinions about the person she assumes that I am. See, I'm getting a lot of attention for some statements I've made in agreement with Billboard Chris around reservations about how we handle childhood transition. And a lot of people have thought that it's really great to see even partial alignment between Chris and a transgender person. Isn't that how we move forward in harmony, by finding where we can agree with one another? But there is a particular crowd who holds genuine contempt and disdain for transgender individuals. For these people, seeing their friends rally around me makes them viscerally upset, and the positivity directed towards me motivates them to personally attack me. One of their talking points over the past 24 hours, as Kellie-Jay referenced, is that I call myself a mother and I make my child do the same. Now, neither of those statements are true. I don't really call myself a mother, at least not that I can remember, and my daughter, who many of you know is my partner's 16-year-old sister who is under my care, calls me Julia. But regardless how many times this has been clarified, this particular crowd takes any point they can find to try to personally attack people like me. And the crowd that I'm referring to are the radical feminist trolls. Now, I am not suggesting that all radical feminists are trolls. There are lots who identify as radfems who I follow and have great respect for them and their viewpoints. They bring about really great conversation, and I value their perspectives, and there's plenty that we agree upon. I am talking about the trolls, the ones who dehumanize people like me at every opportunity that they can find. These are individuals who have taken a hardline position against the mere fact that some people live a transgendered life. They are prepared to go after me and my family personally, rather than engage in dialogue around ideas and policies. Radical feminist trolls and radical trans activists utilize the exact same mindset to centralize an oppressor-oppressed dichotomy. They fixate on privilege to the extent that they develop contempt and disdain for those that they view as their oppressors within a particular intersectional standpoint. For these radical feminists, the oppressors of course are men, and these individuals have adopted a mindset that men as a class, not a particular man, are responsible for the grievances of all women. Again, women as a class. If you're noticing that this whole thing sounds an awful lot like the woke mindset of anti-racism, colonialism, queer theory, and transgender activists, yeah, it really does. It is the exact same way of thinking. For individuals predisposed to see all social issues through this man-woman, oppressor mindset, transgender women are not just men who present as women, they are the physical embodiment of their oppressor erasing them by appropriating their likeness through woman face. Sure, these individuals may be concerned about trans social issues like sports and prisons that have many other people up in arms as well, but they are further offended by the mere idea that a biological male might call themselves Julia, present in a feminine manner, or be called she/her by anyone at all. Let's take those pronouns as an example. For these individuals, it is not compelled speech that's the problem. I personally take the position that no one should be forced to call me anything in particular because compelled speech is bad. I accept that you get to decide how you will refer to me, but these individuals want to compel speech just as much as the radical trans activists. They just want to do so in reverse. While the trans activists want to compel pronouns for all based on gender identity, these radical feminist types want it compelled based on sex. Still compelled speech and still an affront to a liberal democracy. And this is also what happened with the mother nonsense that Kellie-Jay Keen referenced. I don't call myself a mom, and my daughter always calls me Julia when she's speaking to me. And none of this is anyone's business anyway, because this is our personal life. But since we're talking about this, I will give full disclosure. Sometimes when my daughter is speaking with others like her teachers, she just references me as mom because it's a lot simpler than explaining our complicated family structure to every individual. I'll point out that my daughter is 16 years old, and this is her decision. I don't care. She doesn't care. Her teachers don't care. Who does care? A small but very vocal group of angry individuals who have become so captured by this critical way of thinking that they feel justified in attacking my personal life and my daughter. Welcome to woke radical feminism. These radical feminist trolls are the people who call me a man in woman face because of how I choose to dress. These are the people who openly accuse me of cross-dressing and pretending to be female as a hostile act towards them. The attacks from these individuals are more personal and laced with more vitriol than attacks from anyone else I receive, trans activists included. And what's so apropos is how unhinged they present themselves in the process. this. They are so fixated on other people's lives that they hijack conversations and cross the lines of social propriety and feel completely justified in doing so. Here's an example from yesterday. Someone made a complimentary comment on my video about Pride Month excesses, and suddenly an individual named Joe swoops in and delivers a tirade about how I call myself a mum, my child calls me mum, how I don't give a shit about women, how I use women's spaces, how I deny reality, and how I'm an intact man. I responded once and let it be, but as I filmed this 24 hours later, she is still rampaging on about her grievance towards my personal life. This is after many people have gently pointed out that every single accusation she has made against me is demonstratively false. False, and also none of her business. But yet this individual just goes on and on and on and on ad nauseum, kind of like somebody else who continues to accuse me of doxing them, even though they outed themselves in a YouTube comment they placed on my video, and 3 weeks later, you still haven't deleted it, Marine. So why am I saying all this? I am not looking for pity. I've put myself out in the public, and in the past 24 hours, Billboard Chris, Jordan Peterson, and Kellie-Jay Keen have all retweeted or commented, so I can only expect that the public intention will increase. I'm fine with that, and I welcome the ongoing dialogue that we can have on these matters, because that's how we bridge the gap and find workable solutions. I'm really only saying all this to clarify a few things and to politely ask that future conversations maybe not involve my personal life. I am always down for dialogue, and I respect any opinions you might have. As you know, I'm against compelled speech, and I welcome you to refer to me with the pronouns that make you most comfortable. But some of the comments I've seen in the past 24 hours, especially on Kellie-Jay's tweet, are well past the line of polite discourse and are laced with hate and vitriol towards me and my daughter. And I'm hoping we can avoid that in future conversations.